Hi everyone. So I pulled some bottles from my wine shelf slash cellar. These are everyday wines that anyone can go out and purchase. They aren't iconic or expensive wines. And I thought it would be fun to go through and look at what the labels tell us as you're learning. I thought it would be a great exercise to go through and check out how wine labels are put together and the types of information that you can find on a bottle of wine. So the first one is this Proud Pour Pinot for the Bees, and I was immediately attracted to the label. This is screened on, so it's not a paper label. And it doesn't tell you a lot as you're looking at the bottle. You actually have to turn it around. And so on the side, this is clever design right here. They've put Pinot Noir 2020, so we know that the majority of the grapes in this bottle are Pinot Noir, and it's Vin de France. So this is a generic geographical location. This means that the Pinot Noir grapes came from anywhere in France. They didn't necessarily come from Burgundy or from the Loire or a different region. They could have come from anywhere in France. So it's very likely that they came from a region not known for quality producing grapes, right? So this is just generic bulk wine. The other thing that we see here is made with organic grapes. And I always think this is interesting. So made with organic grapes, so you think, this is an organic wine. But that's not the case. Organic grapes means that they were farmed organically. Organic winemaking is what happens in the winery. So we know that these are organic grapes. Let's keep looking at the back. So on the back, we see the name of the wine, made with organic grapes. And then it has a little sales pitch here about how wonderful bees are. And I do think bees are wonderful. It says it is vegan friendly. So they didn't use any animal products. And that would usually be egg whites or casein, which is a milk byproduct, or maybe a gelatin, if they're trying to fine the wine. Fining is making it crystal clear, right? So they didn't use any of these animal products. They probably used a clay-based agent or a synthetic agent. And then we still need to turn. It doesn't tell us anything still about the producer, right? So we know that the name of the wine is Pinot for the Bees, but we don't know who produced the wine. You have to keep turning the bottle around. And here's where it gets interesting. You see here, 750 milliliters. Standard wine bottles will be 750 milliliters. You have the alcohol, 12.3%, so that's ethanol. 12.3% of this bottle is ethanol. Bottled by Proud Pour, Morgan Hill, California. So this is fascinating. We know that the wine is from France, but it was bottled in the United States. So this means it came over in a large container, was imported probably on a very large container ship, and then bottled here once it came to the United States. And that's pretty common. They do that because shipping glass is expensive. And because this is an entry-level wine, the profit margins aren't there to be able to ship it in bottle. And bottles are heavy and fragile, and they break and you get product loss. And then you have imported by Proud Pour, Washington, D.C. So this is the company that bought the wine and brought it into the United States. And then certified organic. And here, all of them will have contained sulfites. That's a preservative, natural preservative. And then the government warning that we have to have here in the United States about how alcohol is dangerous and you shouldn't be operating heavy equipment or pregnant while you're enjoying. Okay, so that's bottle number 1, Proud Pour Pinot for the Bees. It is a Vin de France, so this is an inexpensive bulk wine. It's made from organic grapes, and it's vegan, and it was imported and bottled in Morgan Hill, California. And it's 12.3% alcohol. So this is your first bottle. This is what we know about Proud Pour for the Bees. Let's go on to the next one. Here we are on our next wine. You see the name of the wine, Vignal. The name of the grape, which is Viognier. This is a white wine. It's aromatic. And then you see the region, Pays d'Oc, and this is in France, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then you see the year, 2020. So this is the year that the grapes were grown and harvested over in France, in this region, Pays d'Oc. Let's turn the bottle over and see what it says about the wine. Again, we see the name. We see the name of the grape. We see a little sales pitch here that describes what this is about. And then we see PEDOC, Indication Géographique Protégée. So Indication Géographique Protégée is often abbreviated into IGP. And this is still a large geographical region, but it is defined. It's not as generic as Vin de France. And here is where it gets interesting. You see bottled by, and then this number and letter code France. So unlike the last wine, which was imported in bulk and then bottled here in the United States, this one was actually bottled in France and then imported into the United States. And this is probably a large bottling company and wine company that made this wine. And so we're still not talking about really high quality wine. You're not seeing the name of a producer. You just see the name of the wine and the name of the grape here. And then product of France white wine contains sulfites and the government warning. And here you have the importer, so Plume Ridge, Claremont, California. This is who was responsible for bringing the wine into the United States. And you see their email address. Again, that's all you have for contact information in the United States. You see alcohol levels, 13%, 750 milliliters. Again, that's standard. And then here's the vintage, 2020. All right, so a little bit higher quality in terms of specificity on where the grapes came from and where it was bottled. Let's move on to the next wine. El Terrano, Vinos de España, Wines of Spain, Rueda, Denominación de Origen, Verdejo 2019. So this is the name of the wine. This is the DO, Denominación de Origen, where the grapes came from. Rueda is well known for Verdejo. Verdejo is the name of the white grape. It's a delicious white wine, and this was the 2019 vintage. So the grapes were grown and harvested in 2019. I love the label. It's floral and bright and just speaks to flamenco dances and sunny terraces and everything Spain. So let's look at the back of the label. On the top, again, you have the name of the wine, the grape, the year, bottled for Valkyrie Selections. So they're the ones that wanted this wine bottled. And then you have the Bodega Reina address. So this is a specific winery in Spain. And then you have the importer, Pacific Highway Wines and Spirits. So all three of these companies were working together to get this wine to you on your wine shelf. And then you have the government warning, the 750 milliliters, and the alcohol, and contains sulfites. The other thing you have, and you'll see this in all Spanish wines, is this lovely little label here. And each region in Spain has its own stylized label. And this is a sign of quality that the grapes came from this DO, right? Denominación de Origen. So look for this when you're looking for Spanish wines. And they're lovely. They're very artistic and colorful. All right, let's go on to the next wine. Here is the next wine, and we have this name up here, Cave de Genouille. And Cave in France is a cooperative. So this is a group of growers that come together and share a space and produce wines under this name, the Cave de Genouille. Sometimes they can take those wines and sell them under their own label, or they sell them under the cooperative label. So that's what we're looking at here. And then we have the year, so 2020, Bourgogne Aligoté. So Aligoté is the name of the grape here. So this is Burgundy Aligoté, and this is a white grape. It's delicious. And then you have, again, Appellation Bourgogne Aligoté Contrôlée. So this is a specific AOC, controlled region, geographical region, just for Aligoté. And then it's in gold here, which makes it a little challenging to see here, but it says Mise en beauté à la propriété. So this was bottled at the property of this cooperative, right? So it was imported in this glass bottle. And the glass bottle is actually lighter, which makes sense because shipping glass is expensive. And this isn't a super high quality wine. So that would be expected. And then we have the cooperative of wine growers of Genouille, right? And so that's what this part is here. So we have the name of the producer, in this case it's a cooperative, the region, and the grape and the year. And over here we have the alcohol, 12%. This is a very moderate level of alcohol, medium level. I like this wine. You could drink several glasses of this and be able to still function, right? And 750 milliliters over here. So all the information that you need to know what's in the bottle and the quality level, but let's turn it over and look at the back. Here on the back of the bottle, this is a really typical import label. So each country, when you're importing wine, has specific regulations, and oftentimes the front of the label will be standardized, and then the back of the label will be this generic little sticker of information that's tailored to whatever the local regulations are for wine sales. So you have, again, Bourgogne Aligoté, Burgundy Aligoté, and then you have the producer, this cooperative, product of France, white Burgundy wine, Alfio Morricone selection. So Alfio Morricone here, he is a renowned, well-known wine importer and salesperson. He works with Total Wine. So this individual, this name is supposed to carry weight and importance, that you would recognize this and know that it'll be a quality wine, that this individual helped select it and bring it in. Alcohol level and, again, volume. So these are the required elements of this import label. And then you have the company that imported it in Stamford, Connecticut, your government warning label, and then again, contains sulfites. And then your SKU here. So this is a standard import label. And this is the wine label that will tell you what you hopefully will attract you to the wine in the store. Here is wine number 5. We have a Sancerre. So the year is 2019. Sancerre is an appellation that's controlled, so an AOC, in the Loire Valley of France. It's a very specific delimited region, and it produces Sauvignon Blanc. So this wine, if you didn't know looking at it, is 100% Sauvignon Blanc. And then you have Louis Millet. So this is the name of the producer. And then we have this little bit of information here that's interesting. Produced and bottled at the estate. So this means that it was made and bottled at the estate. It doesn't mean that the grapes were grown by Louis Millet. It just means that the grapes came to the winery and was bottled at the winery. And then France and the address here. So this is a nice label. Let's look at the back. Let's see what it tells us about this wine. Look at that. It says 100% Sauvignon Blanc. This is to help you as a consumer because you may not know that Sancerre is 100% Sauvignon Blanc. So again, the name Sancerre, which is synonymous with Sauvignon Blanc, where it came from, the AOC, and the producer. Produced and bottled at the estate. You have very specific information about the address and contact information. You have who imported it. In this case, it was Latitude Wines. There's the 750 milliliters. Alcohol, 14.5%. This is quite high, but not uncommon for Sancerre because it gets wonderful, intense light intercept that is just fantastic at ripening the grapes and produces amazing wines. And then you have Loire white wine and your government warning, and there's the contained sulfites again. That is your Sancerre. The final bottle that we'll look at together is this Stag's Leap Cabernet Sauvignon. So up at the top, it says 2017. So this is the year that the grapes were grown and harvested. The name of the producer is Stag's Leap. Cabernet Sauvignon is the name of the grape, a red grape. And the majority of the grapes in this bottle of wine will be Cabernet Sauvignon. And then you have Napa Valley, which is an American viticultural area. So this means that the grapes came from Napa Valley, somewhere in Napa Valley. It doesn't mean they came from a specific area or vineyard within Napa Valley. They could have been mixed from many different vineyard locations. And then here's some information about the wine producer to help you feel like this is a high quality wine. It says first vintage 1893. Let's take a look at the back and see what it tells us. Here on the back of the label, again, we have all of the required legal information. You have the vintage 2017. You have the name of the producer, Stag's Leap's Winery. And then you have this lovely little paragraph that is hopefully going to entice you to pick up this bottle of wine. It must have worked for me. And you have the contact information of the winery. And then you have vinted by Stag's Leap Winery and bottled by Stag's Leap Winery. So these grapes came into the winery and were made into wine at their winery, and they were bottled at the winery. It doesn't mean that they grew the grapes. This isn't an estate wine. And then you have the government warning, alcohol 14.3%. That's pretty common for a Napa Cabernet. The volume, 750 milliliters, and then contains sulfites. So Stag's Leap produces nice wines, very nice wines. Is this their highest version, their highest label, quality label? No, but this is still a very good wine. With that, you have 6 different bottles of wine, all distinctive label styles that give you different types of information. Hopefully that gets you curious to read more and go and explore the next time you're in the bottle shop. I'll see you next time.